So let's go to this weekend. I want to talk about what happened this weekend. So you were part of a protest in regards to something that happened in Colorado. This is called LA Drop the Charges. On Thursday, September 17th, police agencies in the Denver area arrested anti-racist organizers in a coordinated assault. Those arrested included leaders in the struggle demanding justice for Elijah McClain. That was the violinist who was executed by police, who was brutally murdered by the Aurora Police Department. They are still in jail with the exception of one person. They are facing multiple felony charges and years in prison in an obvious frame-up aimed at stopping the movement for justice for Elijah McClain. Now, the people who murdered Elijah McClain, they're not in jail, but protesters are. So what exactly happened there?
Yeah, so I am an organizer with the Party for Socialism and Liberation, so pslweb.org. So the PSL is a long-established political party that really takes an certainly police brutality approach. We oppose oppression by the state. We think it needs to end, and our comrades in the Denver branch have been very active ever since the rebellion that broke out following George Floyd. They've been very active in the community, and many thousands upon thousands of community members in Denver have taken to the streets over several weeks, months, and they've been advocating for justice for all those who have been killed by the police, for those in Denver who have been assaulted, such as the young person, Elijah McClain. So the party completely opposes this, and that's why the PSL has been out there very vocally. People can go to pslweb.org/donate for Denver to be in solidarity with those who have been arrested. So let's just bring this home. So these are regular people, young people who are fighting injustice. They're organizing peaceful protests in the city of Denver. Many community members have come out to support them and to support each other. This is about the community. And what happened was that months ago, they did a protest outside the police station. And in the same way that we do it here in Los Angeles, that they do it in San Francisco. So this really could have happened to any organization that is opposing the brutality being carried out by the U.S. police force. So it's just unprecedented. Our organizers in the PSL, they were arrested at their homes, at their workplaces, on the road. They were driving, they were stopped. This was, can you just imagine that, right? Like you're driving, one person was at Home Depot. You're going around your daily life. You've done nothing wrong. All you've done is exercise your freedom of speech rights to protest the government, right? That's supposed to be core to being Americans. You're supposed to be able to protest and voice your grievances to the government. But yet, here they were being arrested unfairly, and they've been given these ridiculous charges. Of kidnapping, of inciting a riot.
How the hell are they coming up with kidnapping? Who did they kidnap?
So the kidnapping charge.
You kidnapped the tear gas canister.
Right. So it stems from the fact that they were outside a police location, and so since they weren't blocking people, the police could come out, but they were charged with, it was claimed that they were blocking, so the police inside, that 18 police officers were being kidnapped.
Oh my God.
Yes, that is.
Oh my God.
It's absolutely ridiculous.
That is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
It's ridiculous and it's terrifying. This was a targeted attack against honest, transparent, good people, because they were standing up against police brutality, and because there were protesters organizing a peaceful protest. It was a coordinated action meant to cut off the head of the movement there. So in Denver, many people have been coming out and joining the Party for Socialism and Liberation struggle there. There's so many other organizations. It's not just the PSL that was attacked. There were many other organizations that also had young people taken. So this is just not appropriate.
That is insane. I mean, and that sets a new precedent, because now one of the things that's happening is people are protesting at officials' houses, be it a mayor. I mean, here in Los Angeles, there have been protests in front of Mayor Garcetti's house, countless protests in front of Garcetti's house. So now they're going to be able to claim that that's kidnapping. They're gonna be, oh, you're blocking them in their house. That's kidnapping. That is absolutely nuts. That is one of the most ridiculous charges I've ever heard. One of them. There's plenty of ridiculous ones across the board, but wow, that's nuts.
It's unheard of for the modern era of the United States. So this is really unprecedented. It's very worrisome. So again, we urge people to be in solidarity. The charges have to be dropped. It's unacceptable. It's ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense to be charging peaceful protesters with kidnapping, with attempting to incite a riot. This happened again. This was a long time ago. This was months ago. Yeah. So it's completely ridiculous, and we as the people should not tolerate this.
On this show, we covered Aurora. And I actually had a couple people on who were part of the, how they had that big violin visual in Aurora. I had some of the players on this show. They came on the show to talk about the experience. And I mean, you can see the footage from that. And I know this isn't Denver specific. This is Aurora. But, the protests were all over the area. You see this footage where they're playing music. They're playing music in a public place. I think they actually had, cleared it with the city. They said they were going to do it. They said, we're going to play music in this public place. They were completely within their rights. And it was a peaceful visual. There was no violence. There was nothing like that. It was people playing violins and cellos, for crying out loud. And the cops show up like just robot stormtroopers, like it was just it was dystopian. I mean it was just disgusting. Just these soulless vacuums walking towards it, and you hear these people, these young women, like there was a young woman's voice. I think she was the person filming a lot of this, and she was like, please, just, we're not hurting anybody. He was murdered, please just let us have this. And they don't. And they keep marching, and they just start cracking heads. And it is beyond painful to watch. And it is disgusting beyond comprehension.
Yes, it's disgusting. It's terrifying. We completely unacceptable. We should not stand for this, because I just want to highlight again. So the Party for Socialism and Liberation, these same activists were also active in that struggle in Aurora. And so what's happening here is that they were protesting the same district attorney, the same policies who are doing this, who are not holding police accountable. So they were literally arresting political opponents. This is, of course, a terrifying situation, especially these are regular people who did nothing wrong. A person from the street, our community members could choose to participate in a protest. And if they had done it in this protest, it's possible that this would have happened to them. It's completely ridiculous. I want to mention their names. I think it's very important. So we have Lillian, Joel, Eliza, and Russell. They were arrested. Joel is a Black man, and the SWAT team stormed his house where he was arrested. He's still in prison. These are the types of situations that we might hear or read about. They happen in the past, for sure. Say in the 70s, when the government was cracking down on the Black Panther Party.
Yeah.
And
Well, Fred Hampton.
Exactly. So this has been in the government's playbook for a long time, because, of course, we know that they tell us that our government represents the people, right? The Constitution says we the people, but of course it does not represent the vast majority of the people, the working class. It represents a tiny segment of people who want to control the working class. So that would be the ruling capitalist class. And that class is invested in making sure that we, the workers, we, the people, are live in constant fear for our lives, so that we don't speak out against the injustices that we see. So when they see something like the rebellion that has been going on all around the country, but especially so in Denver, that's terrifying to them. It's a challenge on their power, and they don't want to lose that power. That would, they would lose profits, they would lose power, they would lose control. But we, the people, have to call this out, and we have to be in solidarity. That's what many people may have seen the PSL in action, the Party for Socialism in action. We use the word comrade. So, what does comrade mean? It means that, we have each other's backs, because this is very important. We have to, if one person gets taken by the oppressive regime, that's what the government is, and it's an oppressive regime in the United States, a capitalist regime that does not have the best interests of the people at heart. We have to be in solidarity with those who are being currently oppressed and terrorized. We have to speak out. We have to do the best we can, and we have to really highlight for everybody, so that everyone realizes that this could happen to anyone who goes to a protest. We already kind of saw it a little bit, right, in Portland a bit earlier, but what has happened today, what happened in Denver is unprecedented in the modern era. They are attacking a concrete political group that has been the voice and really been helping the people to express the outrage at what the police has done, at these brutal killings of African American, Latino American, all varieties of Americans. It's hard to, unless you're in that situation, it's kind of hard, right, to know exactly how to, but just imagine that. We hear these stories from, in some war-torn countries, and, we like to say that in the United States, we have freedom and democracy. Well, what's democratic about abducting peaceful protesters? We have to stand against this.
Well, just to reiterate here, so they took protesters from their homes and threw them in jail for the crime of organizing a protest, a peaceful protest. They're still in jail. So this whole, we're getting close to fascism, we're here. We're here.
Exactly. Because it's also important to emphasize, we know what happened here with these comrades, because they were a part of an organization that wants to make sure they're okay. If they hadn't been in the PSL, it's possible that if they had just been people who maybe stood up against the police brutality, against the local government or the district attorney, they could have just been abducted, and maybe no one would have ever found out. By contrast, since these individuals are comrades in the Party for Socialism and Liberation, we immediately found out about their arrests, and we mobilized in all 50 states to free them. We sent comrades from out of state, from people from different states, different locations where they're engaged in their own struggle. We went in solidarity with the comrades in Denver who are the victims of state terror. We held mass rallies, only 2 days after the arrest. Thousands of people have attended these actions. So that speaks to the power of being a part of a strong organization. So again, you can find out more pslweb.org. Very important to be standing against state terror. 'Cause that is what this is. They apprehended, they're arrested, and they're still behind bars. Peaceful protesters. We cannot tolerate this in our society.
So PSLweb.org is where people can go to learn more and to get involved and to find out how they can help.
Exactly, because you can read everything that we put out there, come to events, check it out. This is a working class organization for every working class member. We are fighting on fascism. We're taking on racism and the police. We're organized because we have to be. We, the people, are our only real line of defense against the terror that the state is meting out every single day in a variety of ways. This is just in one context of police brutality, but the state is constantly terrorizing our families. And I don't mean the families of those involved in the movement. I mean all families in the United States and internationally are being terrorized by the current U.S. government, the U.S. state. So that is why it's very important that we as the people say no. So yes, PSLweb.org.
Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can tweet me an article at Ron Placone. We'll go through it together and make it our own. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our